the channel for you to subscribe, and that'll kind of give you the ability to, be informed about when we do have stuff. So, all right. So Kelsey wants to see how these things play out live, right? Because you're reading a lot of scripts. So what I always want everybody to understand with regards to scripts, and when I say I hate scripts, I don't mean that I hate knowing what to say. I just mean I kind of hate the way that people learn them, right? So we want to dissect the language patterns in a script and understand what in them works, right? So we don't want to take that conversational element away from it. We don't want to ask questions and not listen to the answer. We don't want to reposition ourselves depending on what people say. So and that's real important. I think sometimes we get caught up in the script, the written thing that we're reading. We kind of stop listening. I mean, if you guys have ever had a script run on you by somebody, you probably knew you had a script run on you, right? So, and of course, and the point is to get to a level of level 4 consciousness, which level 4 consciousness is subconscious, consciousness. Wait, is subconsciously competent, right? Unconscious competence. Yeah, geez, me and my words. So that's awesome. So you'll listen. Do we have any scenarios? I know Shannon was sitting expired today. Does anybody have any particular scenarios that they want to workshop that you can either practice if you want to be the agent and kind of practice your language patterns, or if you came across a particular objection or scenario with a seller or a buyer, and you'd like to be on the seller or buyer side, and somebody would like to take that and kind of show you what they would do. Go ahead, Shannon.
Okay, so I've actually got a FSBO texting me right now. I feel a little weird. They've asked me to like book calls or book meetings through their link, but then they didn't send the link. I really don't even know if it's a real FSBO or not. But they just told me that I could talk to her husband at 9 o'clock. So
I like that. Well, look, that could be a real super efficient FSBO, right? Because, I'm all about systems and everything like that. And I mean, the fact that they text you something for you to schedule a conversation, I love that. Now, an opportunity there might be the fact that they didn't send you the link. So they're missing something there. So it's a little bit for you. So you're actually gaining information about them. So, I mean, I don't know, just keep following up with them. I would schedule it, do a little research before you go to the appointment. Make sure that you have a conversation with somebody either on the phone or on video chat before you go there. But no problem. Just schedule that appointment and go. But I'm glad you're on the FSBOs and expireds.
As soon as I'm done with our meeting, I'll be on a FSBO call. You want to practice that?
Sure. Yeah, let's do it. Do you want to be the agent, or do you want to be the FSBO?
Can you be the agent?
I can be the agent. I built my business with for sale by owners. Is there anything in particular? So, and we always set the stage by asking, is there any particular data information we need to know about this scenario? What does it say in the ad? Do I know anything in particular about the house?
It's a house in Plantation. It's a little bit overpriced. Photos aren't great.
Perfect. So, and do I know your name?
I don't know it in front of me in the car.
No problem. So we'll figure it out. All right. So I'm going to give you a call. Ring.
Hello.
Hey, I'm looking for the owner at 123 Medina Street in Plantation.
Yes, that's me. How can I help you?
Hi, my name is Chris. I'm actually your favorite realtor that you don't know yet. What's your name?
Shannon.
Oh, hey, Shannon. It's great speaking to you. I'm glad you picked up the phone. I mean, I've been reaching out to a lot of people. I'm surprised they're selling their house on their own and they're just not picking up their phone or returning calls. So let me ask you, I see that you're listing a buy owner without the assistance of a broker. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I'd like to sell on my own for now.
Awesome. Yeah, I could see that in the ad. Let me ask you, are you cooperating with real estate professionals on any level at this time?
If you have a buyer, you can bring me a buyer, but I'm not ready to list right now.
I love that. So if I brought you a buyer that gave you an offer that was acceptable to you, after a commission was being paid and it didn't require you to sign anything, you'd entertain that offer?
Yeah, sure.
I love that, Shannon. Look, when's a good time for us to meet? I'd love to take a look at the property. It didn't seem like there were too many pictures out there, and I'd like to meet you and explain to you how I work, and we could go from there. So, do you prefer mornings or afternoons?
I can do tomorrow afternoon.
Tomorrow afternoon, awesome. I actually have 2:30 right after a fantastic lunch, and then I could come by at 6 o'clock. Which one of those works better for you?
2:30 is great.
Awesome. So this is what we're going to do, Shannon. 2:30, I'll send you a text with all my information. And I'll reach out to you in the morning just to confirm. And by the way, what's a good email address for you? I'd just like to send you over some information to take a look at before we meet. That way, you know a little bit about me, the way I work. And, again, we're going to talk about how we could work on getting this property sold for you without you hiring a real estate professional. So what's the best email for you?
Okay. ShannonMedina1@gmail.com.
You got it, Shannon. Be on the lookout for a text and an email, and we'll touch base tomorrow. And I'll see you at 2:30 if all else works. Okay.
All right. Sounds good. Thanks, Chris.
Looking forward to it. Bye.
Bye.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
was easy.
nice and easy. Huh?
I don't know if I was easy or you just did it great.
They're all easy. So that's basically the conversation. Sometimes there's people a little resistant. So you didn't have any objection once I presented to you. Hey, if I have a buyer that makes you an offer and it's, it nets you what you're looking for after commission's paid and you don't have to sign anything, you were like, yeah, that sounds good. You might have said, sometimes the objection that you get is, well, are you going to bring the buyer? No. Well, you see, here's the deal. If you don't sign something, I got to get a buyer to sign something. And if a buyer is going to sign something, they don't want me to drag them around to every ugly house I see out there. As a matter of fact, I'll look at 8 houses for every one that I show them to actually bring them to. So I'd be happy to work with you at that capacity. When's a good time to take a look at the house? So we don't promise to bring them buyers, right? If they insist, I will bring them an investor. And I think we all have investors that we're working with that we could bring over to any FSBO. And then we call our investor and we say, hey, Mr. Investor, I got a for sale by owner. They're overpriced with ugly pictures. They get so excited. It tickles them pink. Woohoo! Let's go make a for sale by owner a low offer. Then you bring the investor, you make them a real lousy low offer. And then the for sale by owner is like, that offer is really low. And you're like, well, you're not listed with a professional. So there's nobody negotiating and marketing on your behalf. But how'd you feel on the receiving end of that? Was I easy to talk to? Was I unintimidating?
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the FSBOs are often willing to let you in faster than expireds and GLOs.
Yeah,
But,
sometimes.
they're like, yeah, sure, come and see it, because that's what they're trying to do is sell it on their own. But I guess I need a little help on the next part sometimes.
Well, here, let's explain this to you. The for sale by owners that are the easiest to get into are the most difficult to list.
Right.
The reason why expireds are more difficult to get in is because they actually hire the professional and they're considering hiring a professional again. So the for sale by owners are like, yeah, come on over. Those are the most difficult listings to get. The people that are the most resistant up front are the most likely to list with you when you get there, right? Because that's why they're avoiding having you come. Because they know what the deal is. And look, I'm going to go to the house. I'm going to look at it. I'm going to preview the home. I'm going to explain to them how I work. And I am not going to do a listing presentation without permission. Remember, we talked about that transition conversation of the serious and in a hurry, serious, the 4 different kinds of buyers. That's how we transition into a listing or marketing conversation with the for sale by owner. Expireds, stay at them. It might take you, to get in the door. It might take you, they might have a little more resistance up front because they are going to hire somebody. So they just have to first decide, is this somebody that I'm interested in hiring? Then they will let you in. They're almost at a yes just by agreeing to the appointment, right? I think I told you guys about Brian Dale, a client I have, and he built his business with expireds, and he would get 80% of the ones he went on, but they were very reluctant to let him in the door. So any feedback on that? Any questions?
So I struggle with all of that follow up too with the FSBOs. I know we keep talking about it, but it's like, okay, went to the appointment, got in the door, have the contact information, and then I tried to transition to a marketing conversation in 2 different instances, and they both told me to go screw. Like,
yeah, and they're not ready for it. And they're not ready for it. Okay. So that means they're not ready for the conversation. And that happens a lot. So with the FSBOs.
So what's my follow-up look like? Do I wait a week and be like, hey, like, what does it look like from there? It's been a week. So, they told me to go screw. What happens now?
Well, okay. So we get in the door. To meet the seller and to preview the property. And we might we'll at the very least, we're going to keep it in our, what we call our off-market inventory, right? And so our off-market inventory is things we're going to talk to buyers about, talk to investors about, and be like, hey, I also have some off-market inventory. Would you be interested in seeing, right? And now by doing this, you have something to talk to your for sale by owners about. And so If you can't transition them with that conversation, like, hey, look, we've got a problem here. It seems like first of all, we have to identify, number one, are they motivated? Do they need to sell? Why are they selling? Are they relocating? Did they buy something else? Do they really need to sell? Or are they just kind of putting a for sale sign in their yard? If they really need to sell, that's when we address the problem that they have. Hey, you've got a problem here. Right. And, may I explain, in our business, we've identified that there's 4 different kinds of buyers. So once you say you have a problem and you say, what do you mean I have a problem? Well, can I explain? It seems like you're really motivated. You need to sell here, but there's a little problem because you're not a tribe. We have 4 types of buyers. Can I explain this to you? And you get permission. Then you get into that 4 types of buyers conversation. They ultimately realize they're not attracting buyers that are serious and in a hurry. And that it's going to cause them money off their sale price. It's going to cause them time off their transaction. And then it's after that we say, well, would you like me to show you what I do to attract the top 2 categories of serious and in a hurry buyers and serious and not in a hurry buyers? Would you like to see what we do? And that's the permission to go into your listing consultation or your marketing plan. And then be like, and just go by their needs analysis. You don't have to, I'm like, hey, look, I can't show you everything. Here's this long ass list of all the stuff I do, but let me just show you a couple of things that I think might be important to you, just so you can see the difference, see what we do as experts to get this thing sold. If they're not ready to have that conversation, your follow-up is just going to be that of news. You're going to check in on status, see what's going on with their property. You're going to give them real estate news. And what can you give them as real estate news? Every for sale by owner you have, I would put them as a prospect in your MLS, like prospect match. And so every day when a new listing comes out or something goes under contract or something gets sold and you call your FSBO, be like, hey, Shannon, just want to let you know that right over here in Plantation, a house very similar to yours just came on the market. It's listed 15% lower. That might affect your activity. Let me ask you, how's your activity been? Have you gotten any offers? Oh, you've gotten verbal offers and the buyers disappeared. Well, are you taking a check up front with the contract? Are you making sure they're approved? I have some tools to help you. I'd be happy to shoot them over to you, right? So I can drop them off. I can email them to you. So every time we call and we follow up with a FSBO, we're checking to see the status. How are they doing? Are they running into any challenges? Have they had any changes? And also to inform them about what's happening with the market. No matter what, those are always conversations that are changing that we can have, right? Even if there's nothing new on the market. So people say, what if nothing happens new on the market? No listings, no contracts, no sales. I'm going to call the FSBO and I'm going to say, hey, Shannon, by the way, there's nothing new on the market in Plantation, nothing sold, nothing closed. Your activity must be going through the roof. Did you have a super successful open house this past weekend? I know I had a line at the door and they're going to be like, well, no, yeah. You're going to put that question mark in their head. So that's kind of, that's what it comes down to. But follow-up is going to be easy as long as you don't destroy them when you're there the first time. Remember I told you about Deirdre the Destroyer? We would go on appointments together and I'd be ready to leave and she'd be destroyed. Like, she's like, what don't you understand? Sign here, sign here, sign here, pushing them up against the wall with the paperwork. And I'm like, oh my God, we're never going to get back in this house. I was very much a 2-stop lister. Some people believe if you don't get it the first time, you're not going to get it. I was in early, I was in fast, I was out fast, but then I left that door open. So they took my calls. I was the person that they chose to answer their questions. Do you think after a brand new FSBO doesn't have any questions? They know everything. Do you think 2 weeks in, they might have some questions? Do you think 2 weeks in, they might choose one of the brokers that they contacted or that contacted them to be the person that they go to with their questions? Yeah, so I wanted to be that person. And then from that 3 to 4 week period, 30 days on the market, man, a month, hey, Chris, I think we're ready to hang up, wave the white flag here. We want to talk to you about listing the property. What do you charge? And I'm like, we haven't even had a commission conversation then. Another thing I wanted to point out about me and Shannon said the pictures were crummy and on that ad, on the FSBO ad, and it was a little bit overpriced. Did I talk about the price on the phone at all? Nope. Did I mention the pictures? A little bit, but I would have kept it. I kept that up my sleeve just in case she had objections, Like, oh, well, can't you just see it online? Well, the pictures aren't that great, if I may. I mean, I hope I'm not offending you, but I'd imagine like, what do you do for a living? Oh, you're an attorney. I think you stick to the law instead of photography. When's a good time for me to stop by? Right. So, hey, look, I'm really good at selling houses. I suck myself at taking pictures. That's why I have a professional photographer on retainer. I'd be happy to pass along the name and number. Right. And by the way, you have a professional photographer on retainer and they charge more money to private clients than they do to you. Right. So the photographer that charges you $200 charges a client $500 directly, just to let you know. And if they don't, you would tell them that that's what they charge and they quote them. Any other questions or anything? We have, it's 8:46. We'll move on to another role play. Any other questions or scenarios that you guys want to workshop? No, everybody just listening like a flies on a wall. Wow. Nobody? Kelsey,
Can I just practice? I've never done this before.
I would love you to practice. Now, is there a particular kind of scenario you'd like to practice? Maybe the scripts that you were studying, and then we'll put you with somebody that's appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, that sounds good.
Which one? What kind of scenario? Expired,
Like,
for sale by
I'm
owner?
expired. Yep, expired.
All right. Is this an old expired or a new expired?
Uh, does it matter?
Oh, yes. Well, it's a different strategy, but Kelly's raising her hand over here. I think Kelly built her business with expireds pretty much.
But I'm not very nice.
Yes.
That's okay.
Listen,
Go for it.
Listen, don't destroy her. You know, we don't want Kelsey to get off here. We want her to feel empowered to call expireds. We don't want her to say, I'm not doing this. So Kelly, what kind of expired are you?
I can be a new
A
expired.
new one. Okay. Right. So yeah, whenever you're ready, go ahead, Kelsey, ring her
That
up.
means that I hate realtors though, because you guys just screwed my life up, so.
Okay. Hi, I'm looking for Kelly McCarthy.
This is she, how can I help you?
I'm sure you probably guessed why I'm calling, but I'm Kelsey Hitz from Century 21, and your expired listing came up on my computer.
Oh, awesome, another realtor. Can't wait to hear what you have to say.
Yeah, I can hear the sarcasm. So, like, what does that mean? You want to explain that to me? What happened with the last one?
Well, first of all, I got about 30 calls this morning. Obviously, the last realtor couldn't sell my house. It was on the market for a year. Prices are going up. My neighbor's house sold. The piece of shit house next door sold. Exact same house as mine. It sold for more than we're listed for.
That would be super frustrating. I'd be ready to give up. Where are you at?
Well, where I'm at is that I have an unsold house. I'm about to list it myself on Zillow.
Okay, well, why'd you want to sell in the first place?
Well, my grandkids are out in California and I need to be nearer to them.
Okay, how old are your grandkids?
4 and 6.
Oh, those are such sweet ages. So you feel like you're really missing out and you're looking forward to going and being with them.
Absolutely, absolutely. We've missed the last year because this realtor, doesn't answer my calls and it's just been awful.
Yeah, that sounds pretty awful. So let me just make sure I understand this right. You had a terrible experience on a huge life change where you're dying to get to be closer to your grandchildren. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so if we were able to sell your house right now, would you be happy with the circumstances?
Well, I don't know how you think you're going to sell my house right now. I didn't talk anything about letting you sell my house. I just told you I was going to put it on Zillow.
Yeah, that's fine. So let's role play this. Let's play this out. You put it on Zillow. What does that look like for you? How do you do it?
I'm going to get a professional photographer in here.
Oh.
And I'm going to get some pictures taken and I'm going to list it and we're going to get it sold because
Okay.
at least I'll know what's going on instead of this year of no one answering my calls and not knowing, if people are interested and thinking they are and not getting any feedback.
So it sounds like the realtor you were working with did not communicate with you at all.
No, and that's why I'm going to handle this myself.
Okay, yeah. If somebody doesn't do it, you do it yourself to get it right. Is that what I'm
Mhm.
understanding?
That's correct.
Okay, so you get a professional. So did you not have a professional take pictures last time?
Yeah, there was professional photography.
Oh, okay. So you think that a different photographer will do a better job then?
I just think that I need to do this myself. I mean, I don't have those photos. The other realtor paid for them. I need to get a professional in here, get some good pictures and put it on and know what's going on.
Okay, so you get your pictures and then you put it on and then what happens?
You're supposed to know, aren't you? Aren't you the realtor? I mean, I don't know why I have to role play what selling a house looks like here for me.
No, I'm trying to encourage you because I would love for you to go see your grandkids. I could only imagine how how much you miss them. I mean, you're in Michigan and that's in California. You probably see them once a year. Maybe you video chat with them. They're growing up super fast. And my heart just goes out for you that you spent a whole year putting your trust in somebody else and you weren't able to see them. So, I'm just trying to help you role play. You do not have to role play. You can get off the phone right now. No big deal. I'm just trying to encourage you. So let's walk this through. You take your pictures, you put them on Zillow, and then what happens? So because the realtor didn't communicate with you before, like, how can I encourage you through this process?
Well, you can encourage me through the process. I'm going to put it on Zillow and I'm going to be in control myself of what happens. The market's crazy. There's no reason my house shouldn't sell. It's much nicer than John Smith's next door.
Yeah, I'm sure it is. I'm sure it is. So how about this? I'll give you a call next week and I can give you some pointers. We can see how your feedback's getting on, and we can role play again and strategize for how to get your house sold so you can go see your grandkids.
Kelsey, I
So
do
I'll
not
call
want
you.
to role play with you.
Okay, that's totally fine. I don't know how to end this.
That was tough, right? So, Kelsey, how'd you feel with that?
I felt okay. I mean, it's just having a conversation. And
Yeah.
it's pointing back to the emotional needs that she
Yeah.
wants to go see her grandkids. And I understand that. I just don't know, like,
Yeah.
what do you do from there? Like, I think I was
Sure.
trying to get her to understand that she has no idea how to do it herself.
Well, exactly. So here's the thing. You were very conversational. That was good, and you were kind of going back into her why, right? But I think Kelly wasn't ready to hear that. So it's like there's some kind of where we asking, you were getting right into the mechanics of selling the house, which was I think was frustrating. So, like, Kelly, how did you feel on the receiving end of that?
So I was really good in case, when you started talking about my grandkids, that was the soft point. There's no reason from there, you were trying to sell me. I would have hung up on the phone with you if I were a real person. The minute that I was like, she's fake, that's bull, she doesn't care. When she transitioned from, a soft moment into, trying to sell something to me. I think the relationship aspect of it is really important. Like, I'm really tough on the phone, and this is kind of how I am in life too. I don't have time or patience for people. So
What do you call a high D? A high D.
yeah. So picking up on what was important to me and then just allowing me to talk. Like, when I started talking, I felt like you tried to direct the conversation back to the house sale there. When I'm usually calling somebody, if they're willing to talk to me, and I've gotten listings this way. I've had someone willing to talk to me about golf, and I will sit on the phone and talk about golf and not at all about the house. And then I'll call them back. I'll take notes. How was your golf game at Westchester Country Club? Oh, I remembered that. And then it transitioned. This actually took 3.5 months. It transitioned to me listing this guy's house.
Yeah. So I like Kelly was pointing out that, hey, the soft spot for me was, the grandkids and stuff, and that was great. And then she felt like she was being sold. Now, that identified her listening. Well, we have to speak into people's listening. And in order to do that, we have to know how they're listening. What filter are they listening from, right? So Kelly had an experience. She's an expired seller. She, clearly feels like the market is hot. She feels like she was not communicated with. She was done a disservice by our industry, and we have to have accountability on that and that our industry. So in order to get into those conversations, to speak into her listening, it's kind of speak directly into how she's listening, right? So it's saying, be like, wow, Kelly, like you must be extremely disappointed in our industry, right? So that, let me ask you, like, I apologize for us because, right now the market is hot, and, most of us are getting, sales very quickly over asking price, so I'm just curious, why don't you talk to me a little bit about your experience? So, and typically, they'll tell you about their experience. You just put your customer service hat on, and that could be like a transition. So, oh man, I totally understand why you want to do it yourself. So, what are you going to do yourself? What are the things that you're going to do yourself? And that was kind of the conversation you were getting into. Like, it's like, cool. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do yourself? Right. And it's almost like now that she had the opportunity to vent and you identified with her, they change the listening a little bit. And with expired, sometimes I like to ask them questions that make them say no about their experience. So it's not your agent would sound like they were a terrible communicator. Well, did they do this? Did they do that? Did they do this? Did they do that? And you just ask them things and then they're like, no, they didn't. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. And be like, wow, I could really see that you were disserviced. Well, I completely understand your desire to sell it on your own. And I'd like to offer myself to help you get it sold on your own. I said, but in the meantime, I'd also love to show you what we could do differently that might help you take advantage of what's happening with the market. Because see, I'm not having the same experience that you had. He said, all of my properties are selling. I could show you the facts around that, the data. And at the same time, still put it on Zillow and see what happens. I'll give you some tools to help you get that done on your own, so you kind of like, it's a give and take, you're giving them something, they're giving you something. And that's the give and take relationship, and just kind of always asking them questions right into but their experience and their listening, right? Any other feedback around that?
Your dog was making my dog bark.
Our questions. Bella, yeah, I don't know what she's doing. There's nothing out there. The blind old dog. Oh, she's barking at a dog across the street. I see. Yeah. So any other questions or feedback on that? And then I'll let you guys go. Go ahead, Shannon.
How do we work with FSBOs to be, be helpful without giving them everything so that they could do it on their own? I mean, FSBOs mostly in this market, unless they're priced wrong, they're going to sell. They're probably going to sell within a couple weeks. How do we provide enough without really helping them sell the house to where they still need to come back to you?
Are they going to sell on their own? Okay, so they're going to sell on their own. Could they sell for more? Are they going to have an ironclad deal? Are they going to be in contract with a buyer that's not going to fall apart? Are they going to have the same securities and warranties? Are they going to be able to navigate a multiple offer situation, get the highest offer, the most qualified buyer? Are they going to be able to negotiate contract issues? Are they going to be able to deal with inspection issues? I mean, look at all the issues, right? So I know, and Shannon, how many transactions do you have under your belt now? You're pretty new, right?
Yeah, I just closed my 4th 2 days ago.
Congratulations. So, and you're still relatively new to the business.
But I don't count this.
Yeah, I understand. It's okay. So, but don't things come up? I mean, maybe you have not yet had a transaction where, no,
definitely. There's always problems during the transaction, but I feel like the FSBOs don't realize that until it's too late, or they never realize that they could have got more money than the one they took because they don't. So
all you can do is add value and plant the seed of doubt every time, right? So, if they're priced right, we're getting a ton of offers. Remember I mentioned about the 1003 mortgage application? Go online, print out a 1003 mortgage application. And, you're getting offers? Great. Have them fill this out. That way you'll know they qualified. That thing is obnoxious to look at, right? It asks them for, and just by saying, well, what do you mean? Well, listen, we're seeing that every buyer is a buyer, right? So there's 3 things we look for: qualification, motivation, and loyalty, right? And sometimes they're missing one of those things. Without one of those things, the transaction doesn't work. And then we could share stories with them, right? Think about the best storytellers of our times, the best speakers shared stories. Hey, let me tell you about a transaction, or, a friend of mine that's an agent had a transaction, or a seller that I worked with had this experience, or a buyer, right? Because we've had experiences. We have these masterminds, we share stories, right? So I remember when Kelly first started and all these things were popping up, and she's like, what about now? She's got all these stories. Now you could just, so the likelihood of a for sale by owner selling on their own for as much as you would get for them and the deal still closing is very unlikely, and for them to avoid paying a brokerage fee, right? So, and guess what? We're going to sell it faster for more money, and we're going to do all the work for them, so they can be out there playing golf or tennis, or be at the beach drinking margaritas, whatever they want to do. And so I'm always going to present that lifestyle to them, right? If you are, because I look at what we do as an experience, right? And we talk about white glove experience, 5-star service. And create an experience for these people. And that experience, part of that experience is going to be a stress-free, hands-off experience in the sale of one of their most precious, valued, prized possessions, their property. And so that's going to come out in all of our conversations, in all of our follow-ups, in all of our questioning with them. And most of the questions that we're going to ask a for sale by owner are going to plant the seeds of doubt or question in their mind. Oh, great. You're getting tons of offers. Is anybody, you know, are any contracts coming in with those offers? Are you making sure before you sign on a dotted line, are you looking at inspection clauses? Are you making sure that they can actually buy the loan? Are you verifying income and assets? Did you look at bank statements? Did you check? No, are they doing that stuff? Usually, no. They're like, I like this person, right? You know, and maybe they might have somebody that's can do background checks and stuff for them, but it's a lot of you know, and particularly there's people that prey on for sale by owners specifically because they know that they're not doing these things. They know that they can get a great deal. They know that they can make a full price offer to a for sale by owner, sneak something in an inspection clause there, and then after an inspection, come back and chunk that price down. Has that happened to any of you guys? And you are a realtor. Imagine what's going on to for sale by owners directly. They're destroying these people, right? And so that's, you just got to talk to them that way and be like, look, you might be right. Could you do it? Yeah, sure. I can drive a car with my feet. It doesn't mean it's a good idea, right? You know, and I always come up, I know Raylene is laughing. I always come up ridiculous answers like that. You know, I'm like, that's kind of like, that's like getting married without dating. You wouldn't do that, would you? That sounds silly, right? Just, yeah, just come up with a ridiculous answer, make them laugh, and then just plant the seeds of doubt and then get to stepping. Go sell some more houses, come back and say, hey, how's everything? I've just been busy selling houses. How about you? You have one house to sell. You still haven't done it yet? Yeah. So any other questions or anything? But 9:02, we could let you guys go make live calls. Why, Kelly? Why are you shaking your head, Kelly? Kelly's shaking her head. Shannon's nodding. Anything else,
I'm just
guys?
laughing at you because you're ridiculous and I enjoy it. So
You know, and it's my third year in the business that I realized that I was ridiculous, stop being like everybody else. And that was my first 6-figure year in sales, right? And I was 23 years old, right? So Kelsey, thanks for joining us and thanks for participating. I'm thinking about making this like Fight Club. Remember the rules of Fight Club? If this is your first time, you have to fight, right? So Kelsey, I'm gonna set that standard. If you guys need anything else, shoot me an email. You have my email. I think I'm not sending these emails, the recordings out. Maybe I'll send everybody an email. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. I don't like to flood people's inboxes with stuff. My emails, I write them, except when they're reminders. So I know people ignore them because they think that they're, you know, some kind of machine writing them or sending them. But yeah, I just let me know if you need anything in the meantime, and we'll see everybody next week. If